Welcome to CBSEasy.
Okay, exam season is officially here, and you know what that means? We're diving into a chapter that is an absolute goldmine for marks: globalization and the Indian economy. Seriously, think of this as your secret weapon to boost that score. Let's get right into it.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Look at this question, a classic 5-marker, straight out of the textbook. Yeah, it looks a bit scary, I know, but stick with me, because by the end of this session, you're going to have the perfect answer. This question is basically the key to the entire chapter.
Look, I get it. The pressure is real. But hey, don't worry. Just take a breath. We're going to crack this whole chapter wide open, and we're going to do it together. You'll see, it's not as tough as it looks.
All right, before we even think about those big 5-mark questions, let's grab the low-hanging fruit. Let's lock in those easy, guaranteed 1-mark essentials. These are the building blocks, so let's get them down cold. Okay, first up, globalization. This is your bread and butter. If you see a question asking you to define it, this right here is your golden ticket to an easy mark. It's really just about countries getting more and more connected through buying and selling stuff, investing in each other, and sharing technology. Simple as that.
And if that definition feels a bit abstract, just look at this. This picture tells the entire story. You've got cotton grown in one country, shipped to another to get spun into thread, then sent somewhere else to be stitched into a shirt, and finally sold in a store maybe halfway across the world. That, right there, is globalization in a nutshell.
So, who's in the driver's seat of this whole process? Well, it's these guys, MNCs, or multinational corporations, another super important 1-mark definition right here. These are the huge companies that have factories and offices in lots of different countries. They're the ones making this global connection happen.
Okay, awesome. Basics are down. Now let's level up. We're moving on to what I like to call a guaranteed 3-mark question. I mean, the examiners absolutely love asking about what causes globalization, so let's make sure you are 100% ready for it.
And check this out. This is literally pulled from a sample paper. A board alert. When you see a question phrased exactly like this, highlight the significant 3 factors, your brain should immediately go, ding, 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 3 points. Let me show you what they are.
And here they are, your 3 magic points. Number 1, technology. The internet, faster ships, all that stuff made the world way smaller. Number 2, liberalization. That's just a fancy word for governments removing rules and barriers, making it easier to trade. And number 3, big international groups like the WTO, which kind of set the rules for everyone. Just remember those 3, tech, liberalization, WTO. Boom, 3 marks in the bag.
And look at this. This proves my point. This is a direct quote from an actual CBSE board paper. See, they're not trying to trick you. The stuff you're talking about is exactly what they ask. And technology is always point number 1.
All right, team. We've got the 1-markers, we've got the 3-markers. Now, it's time to go back. Back to that big boss question we started with. The impact of globalization has not been uniform. Let's build that perfect 5-mark answer.
Okay, listen up, because this is the absolute key to scoring full marks here. It is all about balance. You have got to show both sides of the story. You have your winners, the wealthy city folks who get more choices, big Indian companies like Tata that became giants themselves, and skilled workers with new jobs. But then, you have the losers, the small-town producers who couldn't keep up, and workers who suddenly found their jobs weren't so secure. This winners versus losers idea is a fantastic way to structure your answer.
And nothing, I mean nothing, shows this contrast better than these 2 images. On the one hand, you have this slick ad selling the dream of some fancy global lifestyle. And on the other, you have the tough reality for this young vendor just trying to get by. It's the 2 faces of globalization, right there. The dream and the reality. One process, 2 very, very different worlds.
So, let's build your answer, point by point. First, the good stuff, the upside. For consumers like you and me, more choice, better quality, lower prices. Awesome. It's also created a ton of new jobs, especially in fields like IT. And here's a really cool point to add. Globalization didn't just happen to India. Top Indian companies like Infosys actually used it to become MNCs themselves.
Okay, so that's the shiny side, but you absolutely have to talk about the flip side, the negative impacts. You need to mention how small producers, like imagine a local toy maker, just got crushed by floods of cheap imports. And for many workers, jobs became less secure because of something called flexible labor laws. That often meant lower pay and not getting a fair piece of the pie.
Okay, if you write all that, you've got a solid 4 out of 5. Easy.
But we're not here for solid, are we? We're here for the top marks. This last part, this is the topper's secret. This is what turns a good answer into a great one.
Here's the term you're going to drop in your conclusion to blow the examiner away. Fair globalization. It just sounds smart, doesn't it? It shows you're thinking about the solution. It's not about trying to stop globalization, but about making it work better for everyone, so the benefits get shared more fairly. This one phrase is a killer way to wrap up your answer.
And before we wrap up, here are some final pro tips. Think of this as your pre-exam checklist. Mistake number 1 to avoid, being one-sided. Please, always show the positives and the negatives. Second, always mention that the government has a part to play in making globalization fair. And third, don't forget to drop those examples of Indian MNCs like Tata Motors. It shows you really know your stuff.
So, let's end with this big question from your textbook. You see, globalization isn't stopping. It's going to keep going. The real question for all of us is, what's our world going to look like in 20 years? It's a huge question. But for now, your question is on that exam paper. You've got the tools, you know the structure. You've got this. Now go and absolutely ace it.
Thank you for watching with us. See you next time.